So I think we can all agree that stress can sometimes be overwhelming, or at least feel overwhelming, and stress levels are soaring in the U.S., with new surveys showing that more Americans are experiencing anxiety and other health issues due to stress. As far as what's causing the increased stress, we looked at this 2024 poll. It's from the American Psychiatric Association, and it showed the top stressors in 2024 were the economy, current events, the 2024 U.S. election, gun violence, and personal and family safety. And we're having this conversation because April is National Stress Awareness Month. So we wanted to bring in an expert, Dr. Stacey Feuer. She's with us here in studio, clinical health psychologist. Good morning, and thank you for being with us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
I also want to note that you're also the director of clinical health psychology department of Duly Health and Care. And so this is something you work with every single day. And so let's start with this. Most of us deal with some type of stress, but you said that it's not always a bad thing, and there's a differentiation between. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so stress gets a bad name, and so I think it's really important, especially in stressful times like this where people are saying that they're more stressed out, to really slow down and try to understand why we have a stress response. And the most important thing to understand is that the stress response is a healthy thing. It's a good thing. That is our body's way of telling us that we feel unsafe or we need to pay more attention to something around us. Chronic stress is a whole different thing. Chronic stress is when we hear about more inflammation and more ongoing problems, but acute stress and the stress response is actually information that we really want to pay attention to.
And so it could be helpful then, but does stress look different or the same in most people as far as how it shows up?
Yeah. So I would say that there's the same basic ingredients that most of us have, like a smorgasbord of ingredients, but the exact recipe for each person is going to be very individual. So things like accelerated heart rate, sweating, shortness of breath, muscle tension, racing thoughts, those kinds of things, we're probably all going to have them in some combination, but how they manifest is going to be particular to the individual.
And one thing I can even speak for personally is I've noticed stress has shown up physically.
Yes.
Is that common, or does it happen with some people?
It really is. One thing that they're really, learning more about these days is in a field called psychoneuroimmunology, is how much our brain is connected to our gut. And the majority of our neurotransmitters live in our gut, which feeds every part of our body. So when we experience stress and that environment gets disturbed, it can manifest itself as stomach issues, headaches, muscle tension, pretty much any body system, because that's what our GI system helps feed.
And I see some of the ways it manifests physically also, that on top of what you mentioned, that fatigue even. Sometimes you're thinking, I am just so tired.
Right.
Right?
So some people might get restless, or others might get exhausted, right? Some people may get in that fight mode. Their body puts them in that fight or flight mode, and some people go in that freeze mode, which is when you might isolate and actually get depressed because you're stressed.
I know so many people have dealt with more isolation than I think ever before post-pandemic, when so many people were alone.
Yes.
Any hidden warning signs? We talked about the physical manifestation. What about the hidden things?
Yeah, so when we talk about hidden warning signs, I want people to think more about kind of their thought processes and their emotional processes, and especially what we call inflexible thought and emotion processes. Stress is usually a place where we feel stuck in a situation or about a situation.
Okay.
And that's often because, without realizing it, our thoughts and our emotions are going to either a very black and white place where it seems like we have very few choices, or they're catastrophizing, going to the worst case scenario. But mostly what we find, if we look at our thought processes during stress, is that we probably had some very specific expectations of what a situation was going to look like. So one of the hidden signs is really noticing that inflexible thought process and being curious about that and seeing if there's any way to make it more flexible.
Okay, and so we are almost out of time, but before we go, I know anyone watching who's like, how can I manage stress? What is the quickest, easiest explanation for that? I know this is like, we could talk about that forever.
So of course there's different approaches. So I would ask people to think about either a brain first or a body first approach. So a brain first approach would be looking at our thoughts and feelings and trying to modify those in order to relax everything else.
Okay.
And a body first approach would be doing things like deep breathing or muscle relaxation exercises, making sure we're eating and hydrating and exercising properly to get those good chemicals going through to counteract the stress chemicals. and that will allow you to have more than one approach.
Perfect.
Depending on the situation.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your expertise and just for sharing it with us, as we know more and more people are dealing with this. So Dr. Stacey Feuer, thank you for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll be right back.